Good evening, guys. Do I have people here? I hope I have people here, or I'm alone. Hmm, I've done this part already. Who are those online? GST104, you are welcome to the class. What's wrong with this material like this? Actually, material. Okay, Agualo, you are welcome. Madam Titi, you are welcome. I noticed your, what is it called? I noticed you drop a voice note. Sorry, I've been in class since. Maybe after this your own class, I will try to check it out. The voice note is even long. I'm even scared to listen to it now. Let it not be a query. My PDF doesn't want to load though. What's wrong? Let's try to use the browser. Okay, so who remind us where we stopped? What was the last thing we did in this particular course? Yes, who will be kind enough to help us? Peace, John. Good evening. Francis Azianka, you are welcome. Sadiq Miriam, you're welcome. Madam Titi Lola, you're welcome. Agbola Oludayo, you are all welcome. Okay, I have only 4 people online. That's not bad. We can do something with those 4. Hmm. I need someone to tell us or remind us where we stopped exactly. I know we've done primary and secondary sources of information. So that is definitely not where we are. We are far, far, far off that part. We need to remind ourselves where we stopped on the course before we. And I have a very simple question to ask. Hmm. And that question is okay, let me start with that. Look at them now. When I did not hold class, you guys will not allow me to rest in my DM. Sir, it's like you're tired of us. You don't do class for us again. Now we are in class. I'm seeing only 11 people. Is this how you want me to continue? I should be teaching 11 people. Let me share my screen. I think the course material is ready. Hey, what we call project writing, where if you guys can't remember where you stopped, at least me that I'm teaching, I know where I stopped. So we're going to something serious, writing projects, and then let's quickly do something tonight. I know some of you are already good in project writing. At least this is not your first degree, and then in your first degree you've written project. Well, if all of you are not those kind of students that will go and give agents to write final year project for them, well, I don't blame some of you. There are so many reasons why you are doing that, but it's not academically okay for you to do that. If you ask many of you now, the reason you will give is that is because you don't know how to do it, or because you don't have a laptop. Can you call? Well, we are now in Unit 2, Literature Review. What is literature review? What do you do in literature review? What is it all about? What award is being done when somebody is said to be doing literature review? Well, in this unit, we will learn the following: the concept of literature review, literature identification, analyzing the literature, synthesizing the literature, writing the review. Writing the review. Let me see how far we go tonight in our reading. How many things do we have here? How many things do we have here? Okay, the concept of literature review. I don't want to waste your time much. Let me see how far we can go. We should be able to do identification today. Oh, we have a lot of resources to check tonight. Hmm. Wow. You will learn how to use Google Scholar tonight. Okay. Okay. Well, this one will not be hard because you already know information sources, primary, secondary, and tertiary. And you know what primary source means and the examples. You know what secondary source means and its examples. And you know what the tertiary source means and, of course, its example. I'm not sure we can go further than this. I'm not sure. The material is not even showing anymore. I think we have gone too far. We have gone too far. We 42 pages. Okay, someone should help us. What is what do we mean by when we say primary sources of information? Sorry, primary source of information. What does it mean? Just answer it there. I think something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong. I hope it's not network again because network not allow me to enjoy. Oh goodness. I have asked two questions now. Nobody answered. What is they do split? No answer. What is primary source of information? No answer. I think I will need to close this thing, please. I don't understand what it is doing anymore. Let's just close it and reopen it. This one that is doing like village people. Okay, we have 22 now. You guys are warming up. Where is Dora and Grace? I have not seen them. Have they traveled out or what? Have you people have joined me in Canada? I have not seen Dora over time. And then you people that are online here, they are not contributing. If your class is boring, I'll end it. Or you people should not start tonight. I think I should put off this thing. So it's like I have gone too far. This is not where we should be. Okay, this is it. Literature review. So we're meant to start trying to get the picture. Francis, a date you slept is the uniform attached inside the cover or surface of a book. Okay, thank you. You are just describing what is it used for. Now, hey, what kind of class is this one tonight? Wait, oh, what's the challenge? Is it that most of the people online they are not members, so they are unable to comment or what? Or those people that are online are ghost members, so ghost members don't do it. They don't used to engage in anything. They just leave their phone on and do as if they are in the class, and all is a lie. They are not here in the real sense. Ah, goodness. The same error is occurring. I think this one is now from my network, oh, and the material is not opening offline. What's wrong now? I have asked two questions. I have asked two questions. One is the one you are seeing there in the chat box. The one Francis just answered. Even though his answer is not complete, or at least he said something. Then the second one is, what is primary source of information? When we talk about primary source of information, what are we trying to say? Okay, I think I will look for an alternative. So, in the previous unit, we discussed the various sources of information that you can consult during your research. This unit is set out to specifically teach you what to do with these resources in writing your literature review. You'll be taken step by step on the process of writing literature review. These steps are: one, statement of the topic; two, literature identification; three, synthesizing the literature; and the last one, writing your review. Okay, so at each other. Since I've asked questions, you'll be looking at me. Let me be looking at you too. Okay, Francis says it's provided patron with a physical record of date borrowed. Okay, dates. Uh, I'm not getting that fully. Let me check it here. What did you say there? Of the dates, the borrowed book must be returned. Okay, thank you. So I'm actually holding a class with only Francis. Hmm, that's awesome. The question I really want to ask is, where is Grace and where is Dora? All the class captain, none of them is available. I'm not even seeing no more Yasu not too. Abi you people have done meeting. You've done meeting not to attend class tonight. Okay, Madam T said primary information is first hand information. Good evening, Willie. Seriously, nobody is answering the questions yet. I have two questions there. The first one is talking about Dora is not feeling too well. Okay. It's like Dora and time to time not feeling too well. as well. Then the second one is, what is a date due slipped? Hmm. That's the second one. What is a date due slipped? Well, like I've said, if there are no answers to the question, we will likely all remain like this and be looking at each other. And we have a lot of websites to visit tonight too for this class. You guys are doing like this. I don't understand again. You are in class and you are not answering questions. That will not work. You already do my method. You must answer questions. Okay, that means you did not check the material I was reading then. Sorry. Good evening, Dami. All right, since that is what you guys want tonight, I think I'll just teach what I want to teach. I will get out. So, the concept of literature review, that's the next thing we'll be looking at. And what does this mean? What does it mean? Let's read before anything else. The concept of literature review. Literature, goodness, what's this? Literature review is a critical analysis of related literature to research topic. It is not just a critical analysis of related literature, but also a summary of all available literature that are related to your research topic. So literature review can help a researcher to specifically choose an appropriate research topic based on what others have done. You are able to prepare an adequate research plan and formulate reliable objectives, research questions, and also assist researchers in designing appropriate research methodologies and data collection instruments. So some questions you may think about as you develop your literature review are: one, what is known about the subject that you're about to write about or that you are concerned with? Are there any gaps in the knowledge of the subject? Have areas of further study been identified by other researchers that you may want to consider? Who are the significant research personalities in this area? Is there consensus about the topic? What aspects have generated significant debate on the topic? What methods or problems were identified by others studying in the field, and how might they impact your research? What is the most productive methodology for your research based on the literature you have reviewed? Is the current status of research in this area And lastly, what sources of information or data were identified that might be useful to you? Well, I think we should be doing it little by little. Let me not use that written first. This concept of literature review is just a picture. It's just a picture. So let's start from the introduction. When you want to carry out research, you don't normally start from nowhere. It's not possible you want to do a research and you just start from nowhere. Other people, may have already studied the same thing you want to study or something related to it. Let's say, for example, your research topic is the effect of social media or the effect of social media use on the academic performance of university students. For instance, that's what I want to write about. Before you start distributing questionnaires to students, you should first ask yourself, has anybody studied social media and academic performance before? What did they discover? Did all researchers get the same result or different result? What research methods did they use? Don't worry, we'll still talk about research methodology later on, not now. So you understand what we mean by what research methods did they use. Then you ask questions like, what areas did they fail to investigate? Hmm. And then you may even ask yourself, like, is there something new that my own research can contribute? Is there something new that my own research can contribute? So the process of you answering those questions, is what will lead to your own literature review. So let's assume I have a research topic. I'll search for previous studies that are available on it. I'll read them. So you know that writing a final year project is not just going to AI and pop and then you copy and then you paste bang. No, that is not a project. So there are four major stages, that are involved when you are trying to review literature. One is you have to state the topic, statement of the topic. The second one is you must do literature identification. And of course, you must synthesize your literature. And finally, you must write the review. And when we talk about the concept, when you critically examine and then organize the summary of existing knowledge that relates to that particular research or research topic you are trying to work on, you are doing literature review. Let me look for uh, an illustration. But before then, let me bring out two major things that we must see from the concept of literature review. One is that literature review is equals to summary plus critical analysis. Summary plus critical analysis will give us literature review. Now, there is one common mistake researchers, especially students that are trying to do research themselves. We have one common mistake they normally make. Sometimes students that are maybe doing their own research by themselves, they feel like or they think that literature review means you describing what different authors have said. You understand? That is what some of you see literature review as, like you just trying to describe. You understand what we mean by description now, because in the last class we did on GST102, we talked about descriptive essay or writing using description, developing a paragraph using description. Now, that's what some of you see literature review as, and that's the wrong knowledge. You think it's just you then saying, Ade in 2022 said social media affects students. Musa in 2020 study social media among university students. James in 2024 also studied social media. Now, what you are doing is just summarizing. That is just a summary. It's not a long literature review. Now, instead of saying Ade said social media affects students, he said that in 2022. A better way of saying it will be that Ade in 2022 found that excessive social media use negatively affected student academic performance. One is review, the other one is you are just summarizing, and that is an error we make when you are writing your final year project or a research project. Instead of saying, let's say Musa studied social study among university students, you will say it's better to put it like this. Okay, let me even complete that of Ade. So if you say that he found out that negatively affected student academic performance, so instead of that saying Musa studied social media among university students, you can just say Musa, however, I mean maybe Musa in 2023, however, said or reported that uh, students who use social media mainly for academic collaboration, they perform better. So the difference between these findings may be connected to how social media was used, in the two studies. So you've reviewed the literature by Musa and you've reviewed the literature by Ade. That is how literature review looks like. And you as a researcher, you should have in mind that you are doing more than just reporting that so and so said so and so. No, that's not what you are doing. You are in your research or in your review, you are trying to do the following. You are trying to compare, you are trying to analyze, you are trying to explain differences, and you're also trying to draw conclusions. That is what we call literature review. Literature review, when you are reviewing literatures that relate to your own topic, you are doing comparison, analysis, explaining differences, and also trying to draw conclusion. That's what you are doing when you are doing literature review. Now let's take an example. Let's assume Madam Titilola she bought a new smartphone, or probably she wants to. Okay, let me make the illustration better. Let's say Madam Titilola wants to buy a new smartphone. But before, we like to check reviews on social media about that phone. She may go to YouTube and what are people saying? Oh, made reviews. Maybe on YouTube, on maybe Instagram, or even on Google or anywhere. So she would like to check what are people be saying about this phone. Maybe she's trying to buy some S22, and then she wants to know what are people saying, or what was the experience of others who have been using this phone before me. Then she would like to read the comments of customers who have gotten that phone before, who bought that phone before her. She would even like to check the specifications, like the camera, what is the size of the camera, what is the aperture, what is the screen size, and she would like to check the specification, what is the RAM, what is the ROM, the total memory size and everything, the CPU and all those. So she would like to check the specification of the phone. She will even try to compare the prices of the phone. And then sometimes she may even think, if she's a tech person, she would like to look at the strengths and weaknesses of that particular phone. Now, after she has done that, she may even try to read like up to 10, 20 reviews from different customers that have gotten the phone before her. When she has done that, let's assume that uh, Francis, in his own review of that phone, because he's also using the phone, he said the phone is good. And let's say Damilola also said the phone is good. Then who is here again? Who is here with me? Let's say Willie, Umabong Willie says the camera is good. I'm using the phone. The phone camera is good. Or, oh, I just got my S22 today. The camera was so nice. Or the camera is so. Conclude from those, let's say those are the 3 reviews she read. She knew that most reviews agree that the phone has excellent battery life. The camera is good. you know the performance is okay, or probably we have some people the camera is not good. It's not as good as maybe S25 or so. So there are some people arguing about the camera. She may say, okay, oh, there are divided opinions on the camera performance. What is she doing? She has drawn conclusion from the available reviews on that particular phone. So what are we still talking about? The concept of literature review. No, that is the first thing in this place, in this unit. The concept of literature review. We are looking at it practically. This is not just a class just for you to attend and probably just know what is the material and then read for exam. You will later write final year project. In fact, I want to take you people so practically that by the time we are done with this course, some of you should start collecting final year project and start doing project for people that are about to graduate. Now, what you have just done, what Madam Titi Lola has just done is what we call literature review. She needed to buy a new phone. She made some survey about, some research or some what we call some kind of background checking on the phone to know how the phone performs. Now, we like to ask ourselves a question. Why do we review literature? Why do we review literature? Is it not good we try to know that? Or if we are not interested, should we check why we need to review literature? Why don't I just pick a topic? For instance, I want to, maybe Madam Titilola wants to write on the effect of uh, maybe parental, what will I use? Is it uh, maybe the effect of nonchalance on the part of parents on student performance, or on children between the age of 6 to 12. Maybe that is what she wants to write about. Why don't she just sit down and start writing what is on her mind, disregarding what anybody have said about it before? Or why is it not like that? Okay, let's see why do we review literature? So from the concept of literature review that we've looked at here, we can see why from this part. The why is written here. When you read this page very well, you'll be able to see that there are so many reasons why we perform literature review. We have so many reasons. We have so many reasons why we perform literature review. One is that it will help you to understand what is already known about that topic. Let's assume you want to write on cyberbullying among Nigerian university students. You need to know what people or other researchers have done previously, what they've discovered on maybe causes of cyberbullying, maybe common platforms, maybe psychological effect, or even prevalence or possible solutions that people have profiled before your own time of researching on that topic. If you don't review the previous research, you may simply repeat what somebody has done before and call it a project. And that is not a project. It's not like you cannot, upgrade a project when there is a gap between the time it was written and the time you are writing it. Technology has changed, the world is evolving, new things are coming in. So there are so many things that okay, look at the class I just finished teaching on NOU 107, where the material said that in Nigeria today, National Open University of Nigeria is the only mono-mode university. Now, that claim is no longer valid. Why? We have MIVA University now that is also operating only open university. They don't have conventional university, which means the time they made the research on this material and wrote this material, there was nothing like MIVA. So the person that wrote the material then was right then to say that none is the only mono mode. But knowledge has evolved. The world has changed a bit. Miva is now in the picture. So you need to review literature so that you don't repeat the same thing somebody has done and discovered before. Now, the two, another thing, another reason why we probably need to do literature review is that it helps you to identify a research gap. And what do we mean by research gap? You know, they mention a research gap among these questions. And I know that some of you don't know what it means and you not ask question. Well, let me just help you. I know that some of you will not ask. Now, what we mean by a research gap is that a question that has been answered in the previous research that is available on that topic, if the question has not been adequately answered, there will be a gap. Just like what I'm talking about now about NOU and then mono mode of a thing. Okay, let's say for instance, maybe people are bullying among students in conventional universities before, but we have little or no study available on cyberbullying on open and distance learning students. So that becomes a possible gap. So your own may not be cyberbullying experiences among students of the National Open University of Nigeria. You have filled a research gap. Maybe before when they were writing about cyberbullying among students, we only had conventional universities then. But now we have universities that are called open universities. So we still need to research that same kind of research on them. So the gap is that you now want to research on open university. So if, for instance, let's explain that research gap more clearly. Let's assume that existing research that you have available on that topic, there is just like building a wall. So the previous ones that have been done, they've laid the foundation, they've laid. So your own job now is not to destroy the block for you to start again. No, it's for you to look for that are missing, holes that are inside or within the walls. As you go through the wall that have been built before, you are looking for holes where new blocks can fit in. That is what we are talking about research gap. So it also helps you select an appropriate research topic, as it's mentioned here. It helps you to select an appropriate research topic. Sometimes when you are left alone to just do anything you like, choose a topic you like, you are likely going to say social media and student. Like your topic now, you say choose any topic and there is no supervisor that will approve a topic or anything. You now say choose any topic. I say, me, I want to start my own research. Hey, I will do social media and student. If you want to choose that kind of topic, it's too broad. How many type of students do we have? How many type of media usage do we have? So if you now go and choose that topic now and say, your own research system is going to be on social media and students. My brother, be my sister. You will do, in fact, your research will take you how many years to finish? But after reviewing literature on the topic, you may decide to say, okay, this one I've talked about Telegram. This one I've talked about Facebook. Okay, I will talk about influence of WhatsApp study groups on the academic performance of undergraduate students. You see the difference now? From the beginning, what was on your mind was that the topic I'll write about is social media and student. That is the correlation between the two of them. Is it helping or is it not helping? So that is what you want to do. But when you start looking at different things that people have written about that topic, you find out that each of them were picking just one aspect. This one talks about the effect. This one talks about the advantage. This one talks about the use of this particular media. This one talks about the use of that particular. You now find out that if you just want to do social media and student, it's going to be an excessively broad research. So it's better through the review, you may rephrase your topic to say, okay, I will do influence of WhatsApp media, and it's no longer just student, it's now undergraduate student. You've limited the scope of your topic. Now, it's also what is another reason why we study literature review, or why we do literature review rather. It helps you formulate research objectives and questions. So let's assume previous studies repeatedly discussed three major functions or factors affecting maybe electricity. Now, your own research objective include things like to determine the influence of internet accessibility, student participation in online learning, or to examine the relationship between student digital literacy and online learning participation, and also to investigate how electricity supply affect participation in online learning. So that is that. And then another thing is that it helps you in choosing research topic. We're still talking about all these things listed here. It helps you to choose, it helps you in choosing research method or methodology. So if we have 10 researchers, for example, that have investigated student satisfaction or anything, and you discover that 8 of them used questionnaires and they used it successfully, it means that, or that may suggest to you that questionnaire would be appropriate for this topic that you want to write about. So before you may be thinking about what kind of method will I use to get my data, or to source for my data for this. But once you've reviewed literature and you find out that most of the people that have written about this topic before, they use questionnaire, it becomes easier for you to just, oh, I think questionnaire will be the best option for this type of question. So it could, in fact, in that aspect, you'll be able to get the research design, the population that is needed, the sample size that you should use, the sampling method you should use. So see, don't worry, each of these things, we'll talk about them at length. We are just mentioning them now, some of you are confused. Then questions you should ask yourself when you are reviewing a review. There are of them here that have been listed. You can see that is what we have been studying. Uh, but in a simple format, you just need to know what is already known about the topic, what is not yet known about the topic, who are the major researchers in the field, do they agree with each other? Researchers agree with each other. That is the meaning of consensus. I think you guys can notice that in point 3 or so, they said, is there consensus about the topic? What they mean by consensus is that the people that have researched about this topic earlier, do they agree? So let's say most researchers agree that poor internet connectivity affects online learning. Then there is a consensus among them. So another question is, where do researchers disagree, if there is any disagreement? So we may also, the another question here is that what methodologies have previous researchers used? And of course, what information can assist your study? And so on and so forth. So let's go to literature identification, and that's the last thing we'll do tonight. Not really because of time, but because my PC is down. My PC is down. I'm just managing it on low light now, so that I'll finish the class. And I think we are already on 45 minutes. So let's quickly do literature identification. What are they and how to use? Although some of them are no longer available, that is still available, very much available. Okay, let's quickly read what is there and then I explain. The next step after you've done literature review, the concept, after you've known the concept, is that you need to familiarize yourself with resources like the print or electronic resources, primary, secondary, or tertiary resources that will be relevant to your research topic. Also, you need to identify databases and also open educational resources you may need to use in the course of your your research. There are some scholarly research search engines that may be of benefit to you. Now, what are they trying to say there when they say literature uh, identification? After selecting your research topic through literature review, the next thing you would like to do is literature identification. Now, what you do there is you identify resources that are relevant to your study. That is in form of print or electronic resources. For example, when we talk about print, we are talking about textbooks, journals, dissertations that have been done before, websites, reports, electronic databases, and so on and so forth. So, when you know how to use scholarly search engines, you see, they listed them here by starting with academic info, but me, I would have loved to start with Google Scholar. So I will go to that Google Scholar now and share the page. Is Google Scholar that I will go to first. And I think that is one I will likely show you guys tonight. Sites you are seeing there, they are also useful. Mm, in fact, the easiest way to use to teach you guys research is Google Scholar. So the others may be a little bit complex, but Google Scholar is straightforward. So in Google Scholar, let's say we want to talk about Madam Titi's. Okay, somebody's network is fluctuating. I'm so sorry about that. Is it yours or mine? Because I'm also following this class and I think it's okay. So this is Google Scholar. And you guys can see the site scholar.google.ca. Scholar.google.ca. That is the so each of those you know website you should bookmark them on your browser. They are very useful for you. Now, assuming your topic is social media and student, like we mentioned earlier, that you before you started your literature review, you were like, I'll write about social student and then sorry, social media and then student. But you later narrow it down to effect of maybe social media on the undergraduate student. Now, when you want to look for resources on Google Scholar, instead of you to just come and if you type social media, Jesus, you will see how many resources that will be available. So let me teach you how to use Google Scholar. For instance, now if you just come here and you just type social media, then you search, you are going to see how many resources this thing will bring out to you. Let me first confirm that I'm not a robot. I think my network is not sound for real, because if it's sound, it's likely not going to be asking me this rubbish. Okay, let me select the stairs and verify myself. Okay, look at it now, guys. You search for social media. This is how you that is how you must learn how to use this site. You search for social media, it brought about 9,740,000 results. Those are the number of resources, books, articles that people have written that relate to social media. Now, you know that you will not be doing yourself any good if that is what you come to search, because you'll be confused. So instead of you to come to Google Scholar and search for this, and then you see voluminous results that will get you confused or even get you discouraged about doing anything, because you ask yourself, where do I start from? 9 million articles, okay? Where do I start from? Oh, you can narrow it down to saying social media academic. Let me just use this word, academic, maybe performance. That is what you are trying to talk about. University student, then Nigeria. And now it brought 140 results, but it's still far better than the one of 9 million. But is it all these 147,000 articles you have to read? Is that all you have to read? Or sorry, do you have to read all of them? Now that is when you need to look for you need to learn how to use Google Scholar. On this part, you see something called year. Look at this other side there where my cursor is, close to the search button. You see year. So you can filter. There is option to filter your search result. So if I filter it that I don't want anything less than 2025, so let's click on since 2025. It will now narrow it down to only articles that have been written on this topic from 2025 to today. Now we have just 9,000. We have just 9,000 that have been. Now I'm applying another one, review articles. Review articles. Now review articles that you can review, just 4,000 of them. What are you doing? You are narrowing down your options so that you don't need to read 9 million books or articles on that topic. So let's talk about something we call descriptor. I will type it in the chat box so you guys don't ask me what I'm talking about. Descriptor. Descriptor, what does it mean? A descriptor is just an important keyword or search phrase that relates to your research topic. So if your research topic, for instance, is influence of, let me say, if your research topic is influence of, what is it called now? I want to try my best to type that in the chat box. I hope it will not take my time because I'm also looking at my PC's battery. I don't want it to off on its own. So if your, let me try and type it. Will be all right, no problem. So I'm on descriptors and I'm trying to type it now so that I will give you guys what I'm trying to say. When we say descriptor, you need to understand descriptors. This topic is very wide and I don't want us to just be reading because I want you guys to start writing projects after this class. Once you are done with okay, so uh ah, all right. Let me quickly, I'm typing in, don't worry, I want to drop it. What I'm trying to say on descriptors. Because when you understand descriptors very well, it helps you when you want to search, you know, what do you call them now? When you want to search for keywords or search for anything on your topic. When you want to search for anything on your topic, that topic you are trying to write about. So I want us to look at descriptors. I will type the full topic. For instance, if that is the topic I want to do, then I'll now bring out all the descriptors that are, you know, in that. Oh, goodness. Mm, okay, and I'm almost done. So now, assuming this is the topic you have, you guys should look at the chat box. Let's assume that is the topic you want to write about. Influence of online learning on academic performance of university students. This is one of the projects I have done. Okay, let's assume this is the project. What are the descriptors you will use? What are the descriptors you will use? The possible descriptors you are going to use is, or sorry, they include things like online learning. It's a descriptor that relates to your topic, something that relates to your topic. When we say descriptor, a descriptor is basically an important keyword, or search phrase that relates to your research topic. Just like when you are doing TMA, you are now copying important points from the question to search from your material to get answer. That is exactly what descriptors are in research. So we now have the possible descriptor for this my topic. We have online learning, we have maybe academic performance, you can even talk about university student or even e-learning or distance education. You can even combine two of them together when you are trying to use descriptors. You can combine two of them together. For instance, you can combine from those descriptors of my topic, you can combine online learning and academic performance together. So, or you can even combine e-learning and university students and then Nigeria together. When you combine them on Google search, so you know, or Google Scholar, sorry, good keywords make literature searches more what effective. When you use good, your literature search become more effective. So it is when you are doing literature search that you may decide to even change your topic. It is normal. Like when you are doing literature search, that is when you are likely going to change your topic. So maybe before you are just talking about online learning and probably education. When you are doing literature search, you may decide to switch to technology and education. So after several studies, you may realize that your topic is too broad. So you may decide to narrow it to something that you'll be able to cover. Because the wider the scope of your topic, the harder the work you need to do. So if before your plan was to write on technology and education, by the time you do all those searches and you saw 9 million this thing articles, you may decide to change it to influence of mobile learning or mobile learning applications on undergraduate school students. Even if that one is still too broad, you may decide that same topic, you may decide to twist it down or narrow it down to say maybe influence of mobile learning applications on academic performance of non-students in Lagos. You see how you've limited the scope. You brought it from broader technology and education to undergraduate students. That one is still wide. So you need to bring it down a bit to just a school, no. And even that school, not all non-students, but just a branch in Lagos. That is how you find yourself narrowing down your topic so that it becomes better and easier to research. So literature can help you discover theories. Let's assume you are studying technology adoption, for instance. So when you are reading or while you are reading, you repeatedly encounter something like maybe term, that is technology acceptance model. So during that point, you may realize that this theory provide the theoretical framework for your own study. So that is what existing literatures can lead you to. That's what existing literature can lead you to. So, guys, I think I will stop here. I will stop here because I won't want us to go for that. We have a lot of things to talk. I wish my PC is up enough tonight, or that you guys are actually active. A lot of people are not active. I see. And then when they get to 400 level, they start looking for people that will, well, I'm available, shall come and pay me since you will not attend the class on how to do it now. I love this material. In fact, I love this part of the material so well because this is a skill that it won't only help you in your own final year project, it also help you to make money. If you learn it very well now, in no time you will start writing projects. Good project, not just copy and paste project. So, as a form of summary tonight, we have looked at the concept of literature review and then literature identification. So those are the things we have done tonight, and I think I have tried my best to bring it down to the simplest form for you to understand. I wish you can be having this particular course every day because I want you guys to really learn how to write research project. So if you still have an opportunity this week, we are likely going to hold this class again because I want to finish this particular literature review with you guys. Notwithstanding, tomorrow we have another class, GST102, and then we'll combine it with one MAC course. Madam Titi, your class will resume tomorrow fully at the normal time. I'm back now. Sorry for the long break. So, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night rest. Thank you for attending the class. Those that did not join, they may watch the recording. Good night.